Why most men are invisible to women. Let's get stuck in. I'm sure this is gonna ruffle some feathers for some of you boys and hopefully lands for most. And I'm gonna try to provide as much value as I can. Bit of backstory. Look, I have slept with too many women, way too many. My values were out of whack. I was just a different person. I was a different man back in my 20s. And so I've slept with countless women and dated, dozens and dozens of women. I don't say that to flex, but more to, I guess, give some context in terms to why I believe I can speak to this and why I do understand the female prerogative and the very much the feminine centric society that we are living in. Because understanding women is one thing. Understanding women and not letting it get you bitter is another. And I see a lot of the guys in the red pill and the manosphere space, they are abusing their knowledge of female nature, right? Hypergamy would be something that most of you would have heard by now. But they're abusing it in ways so that they can then take advantage of women themselves and essentially coerce, manipulate, control women, just like they're accusing women of doing to men. Now, not all of them, okay? I'm using a broad stroke for a reason. As I said, it is important to understand female nature, but it is more important to understand female nature and not let it get you bitter and help. And on top of that, stay true to your values as a man. A high value man operates from his values and provides value to the world. And so it doesn't matter what women are doing. If women are undateable, don't date them. Okay. If women are being promiscuous, stay away from the promiscuous women. All right. This is where we start to reclaim our power as men when we get control over our lust. All right. But not the point of today's video. Maybe I'll do another one of those in the future. For today, it's about why most men are invisible to women. They're not getting rejected. Most men don't fall into this rejection category. They're just ignored. They don't have any attention from women. They're not interested. Women aren't interested in them, sorry. There's no signals. They walk into a room and it's like that they just don't exist. All right. Meanwhile, another man can walk in and immediately gets that attention. So what is the difference? Why are some men invisible while others stand out instantly? And that is what today's video is. I'm going to break that down for you. Here is the harsh truth. Most men are average. Average physique, average style, average energy, average communication, and average is invisible. You have to understand, and I've said this in other videos, we aren't born with value. We have to create value. It's one of the best things about masculinity, in my opinion, is that we get to forge ourselves in this world. We get to compete with the version of ourselves yesterday, and we organize ourselves in a hierarchy. Men are hierarchical. You walk into the gym, what do you start to notice? You notice the most jacked guy, and the joke is that, if he's bigger than you, well, he must be on steroids. If he's leaner than you, well, I'm stronger than him. Okay, we're constantly arranging ourselves into a hierarchy because we understand that to be at the bottom of the hierarchy is to be invisible. Okay, to be average is to be invisible. And none of you watching this want to be average. You guys want to stand out, you want to understand female nature, and you want to be able to walk into a room and be respected by other men and be attractive to women. So if you look, act, and think like everyone else, then there is no reason for someone to notice you. You need to develop yourself. You need to become your authentic version of you, not to fit in so you can get women, but so that you feel the most confident being you. I have a very specific style. Okay, I like to dress like the kind of rich frat boy, private school boy, like that. I like to look like that. I like to wear watches. I wear my gold chain every day with my cross, right? I wear chinos and loafers most days, or boots with my jeans. I have a very specific look because that's what feels good to me. But also I communicate in a very specific way. I am a bit more out there. That's what comes naturally to me. Okay. What I see a lot of men fall into is when they start to work on themselves, is they fall into how they think they need to be perceived by women. And that is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about developing your authentic self so that you can stand out in a room. Okay. When I walk into a room, For me, what comes naturally is I want to be introducing myself. I go to the same cafe every day. I know all the baristas down there. Okay, I go to the gym. I'm introducing myself to the trainers there. I'm introducing myself to the guys that work out at the same time. That's what comes natural to me. People remember that. People remember my energy as a result of that. So a lot of you guys have no presence. Presence is something that you feel, particularly women. They are very intuitive creatures, women. They understand. It's why the weird guys and the creepy guys will never get ahead, no matter how much they sort of change and work on themselves, because if they're not actually confident in who they are, the little like ticks and little weirdness, and it leaks out and women pick up on it. Right? You got to be very comfortable in your presence. Okay, you got to be very comfortable in who you are. Because before a man even speaks, you can tell how he carries himself. Posture, eye contact, movement, energy. Most men walk into a room completely unsure of themselves, and downstream from that, you'll get the head down, low energy. They're deliberately trying not to be noticed. And ironically, that is exactly what happens. Consciously, I want to be noticed. I want women to notice me, but they're acting out a very different belief system about who they are. Next is approval seeking. This kills attraction. If you are a man trying to constantly be like agreeing with everything, laughing too much, chasing validation, it signals weakness. And attraction is built on confidence, and confidence does not need approval. You're not seeking for it. You're not looking to be liked. And women can pick up on this instantly. Pokemon with my son at the moment, and Brock is the typical nice guy chasing approval. Every woman he meets, he just throws himself out at women. Even this episode yesterday I was watching with my son, and this woman, something was going on. They couldn't decide what type the Pokemon was. And Brock goes to this doctor, expert female trainer, right, as they're trying to figure out what type it is. And she goes, I'm not even sure what to think now. And he goes, well, when you do, let me know so that I can agree with you. And it was perfect. I sent it to my mate, and it sums up the modern man completely. How many of you are scared to voice your opinions for fear of women rejecting you? How many of you actually speak your mind? Not going so far as to be deliberately rude or whatever, but just sharing your opinions, holding your boundaries, pushing back against women. You have to stop seeking approval, and you have to start to seek your own approval first, your own validation, your own inner authority, your own authentic self needs to start to come out. Next thing is, men without direction are forgettable. You have to have a direction. You got to be going somewhere. You got to be purpose-led. When someone asks, what do you do? What are you building? What are you working towards? Most men don't really have a clear answer. Okay. But the man who has a purpose, who's building something, who knows where he's going, has got goals, direction, a purpose, he stands out immediately. Okay, so for me, hey Dylan, what do you do? I coach men. I work with high-performing men and help them overcome sabotage. Oh wow, what does that look like? Oh, I've been doing it for 6 years, blah, 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 right? You don't need to worry about having a big purpose if you don't have it, but you need to find some direction in your life. Next, and this one's huge, weak body language. Body language communicates more than words. I think it's like 70% of social cues, I believe. It's been a while since I looked at the research. 70% come from body language. All right. Slouch postures, avoiding eye contact, those nervous movements. These signals tell people, especially women, this man lacks confidence. That is what you are signaling. Strong men communicate differently. They're calm, controlled, grounded, and people feel it. Strong men, or men who are visible to women, have a presence about them, and their body language is the first indicator of that presence. It calms, it's like a calming thing. It calms people around them. They're grounded, controlled. Now, I'm a very loud, outspoken person as well, but it's still contained. Now, the next one is, there is no social proof. What I mean by that is, humans look to others for cues. If a man is respected by other men, if he has strong friendships, if he's a part of something, he raises his perceived value. This is why in the pickup artistry community, they talk about having women around you. It's getting smashed at Dan Bilzerian contact at the moment for his Sigma Society thing. And it's all about how he would have 15 women around him. And because there was 15 women around him, he was the prize and all the women were jostling for his attention. That is what I mean by having social proof when it comes to dating women and being visible to women. If you aren't around people, if there's no social proof of your standing, it is going to be very difficult for you to stand out in the eyes of women. Because the man who is isolated with no visible tribe, he does often get overlooked. And this is not to then blame him or get upset or angry. It's just understand that. And there are also periods in your life where good. Have no one around you. Go work. Go be a lone wolf. Okay? Go focus on your shit. Don't be so focused, so female focused, right? You have direction. You've got purpose. Focus on that. Women will come around you as a result of you being focused on that. Now, the next one is a big one. Low standards. Men who chase everything. I know this because I was this man. And all these things I understand because I was this guy. Okay, you're chasing everything and you end up with nothing. If you try to get attention from everyone, it signals desperation. High value men are selective. They choose, they don't chase, and that shift will change how people perceive you. There's also the saying, the man who chases two rabbits catches none. So guys, in closing, being invisible is not bad luck. It's just feedback. It's a signal that something needs to change. Okay, if you're in this place, you need to work on yourself. That's it. Every woman can't be wrong. Okay, if no one is paying you attention, if you feel invisible women, just take a step back from dating. Don't make that the focus. I understand the need for human connection. I understand that on a deep level. But that's the work. That's the work that you need to do. You need to take a step away, build your value, get into the gym, get your money up, okay? Find purpose. And through all of this, have good values that you stick by. That is the main thing the red pill community misses, or the manosphere misses, is be a good man. Be a whole man. Just decide what that looks like, okay? Because the moment that you actually build these things, presence, direction, standards, confidence, you will stop being invisible and you will start being noticed. Now, men, if you want to become the kind of man who does stand out, who gets respect, attracts attention naturally, all right, come, join us in the Apex Order. It's a brotherhood of men focusing on leveling up in every area of life. Link below. And if you want more conversations like this about masculinity, attraction, becoming a high-level man, please hit that subscribe button, leave a comment below. I'd love to know your thoughts because we are just getting started.